Welcome to Moose Plays, everyone. I'm the Liquor Moose, and today we will be going over my first pool game for Santa Smackdown 2018. For this pool game, we will be going up against Oro, and yeah, so there's, it's a tour. There's no history like I normally talk about, or kind of no stakes. It's like the first pool game, so I'm just gonna get right into what Oro drafted. So, anyways, Oro drafted Megaladios, Tapu Fini, Ferrothorn, Buzzwole, Arcanine, Chansey, and Mandibuzz. So first off, there's only a 7-mon draft. In my opinion, that makes my prep easier. However, I will say, Megaladios is a huge threat to my team. That thing's coverage and mixed capabilities is ridiculous, especially in 8-mon. And yeah, barring that, Oro basically drafted Megaladios stall. His team is super duper fat. Even the Megaladios can be bulky offense, but the rest of his team is basically, other than the Buzzwole maybe, it's basically straight up just defensive fat. I basically just have to break shit, which is lucky because I have a very good wall breaking core, as I mentioned in my draft analysis. So yeah. I guess there's not really too much to say about Oro's draft because it's only 8-mon and all that stuff, and I'll probably never face this team again. But yeah, let's go over the team that I decided to build. So the first member of the team, if it wasn't already obvious from Oro's team composition, Choice Banded Diggersby just goes fucking crazy. Yeah, Return. Actually, looking on it 2-hit KOs everything except for Ferrothorn and physically defensive Buzzwole. I think those two are probably his best responses to it. So I have Fire Punch for the Ferrothorn, and then barring that, Earthquake, I think still 2-hit KOs Ferrothorn. Or sorry, not Ferrothorn. I'm an idiot. Fire Punch, I don't remember if it's 2-hit KOs Buzzwole. Earthquake, probably 2-hit KOs Ferrothorn. It doesn't matter. So his best answer to this, in my opinion, is his Buzzwole, which Return does not guarantee 2-hit KO, but it is a roll. But yeah, just look at his team. Diggersby just actually goes fucking insane. With enough speed, oh boy, I built this team a while ago, and I had the game a while ago, so bear with me if I don't remember speeds, but my gut says this was for either no speed Arcanine or no speed Tapu Fini. And I don't remember, but I think that's too much speed for the no speed Tapu Fini, so I think we're no speed Arcanine. I think that's what we're creeping. But don't quote me on that, because I built this team literally probably 3 weeks ago. I honestly don't remember. But yeah, Choice Banded Diggersby just goes nuts against Oro's team. That's pretty obvious. Next up, another thing that's obvious is that a traditional offensive Noivern has absolutely no place in this matchup against Oro. But what does have a place in this match is a mono Super Fang attacking set. Because look at all of his fat stuff that wants to use defensive moves, like Tapu Fini, Ferrothorn, Chansey, Mandibuzz. They all take a huge hit when they get taunted. Super Fang, just to make sure I get a guaranteed 50% off a bunch of stuff. And then we have Roost to keep my own recovery up. And then we have Tailwind, because like I mentioned, Diggersby is a gigantic threat to him. So if it ever comes to the situation where I can Tailwind and basically make Diggersby outspeed his entire team, then I can basically just set up for a Diggersby sweep if I can just click Return. That was the idea with Tailwind. I don't know. It seems kind of weird, but I still think I like it. With enough speed here, I guess his fastest mon is Megaladios, and then the rest into physical defense, because unless his Buzzwole has Ice Punch or possibly Stone Edge, his Buzzwole isn't doing too much of this Noivern. It's pretty bulky. But yeah, I really like this Noivern set. I can't wait to use it. Next up, we have regular Raichu, because I don't know. I just felt like I wanted them. Oh right, he doesn't have a ground type. And he also doesn't have an electric immunity, so Volt switching around with Raichu made a lot of sense to me. We have Sugar Berry here to be able to guarantee live an Earthquake from Megaladios should he carry it. And then I believe, if I remember correctly, Signal Beam guarantees 50% off Megaladios, but don't quote me on that. And then barring that, we just have good covers like Volt Switch for Momentum, Thunderbolt just for general stab, because he does have the Tapu Fini and the Mandibuzz. And then we have HP Fire for the Ferrothorn specifically. But yeah, pretty straightforward Raichu set in my opinion. Another straightforward set, which is Skarmory. We have a very fast Skarmory because at the time before I played him, Oro had already played against Bill, who was in our pool. And Bill also has Skarmory on his roster. And he ran a fast as fuck Skarmory to be able to outspeed Oro's Tapu Fini to be able to taunt it, or at least for it to not get taunted. So I'm basically trying the same thing. I have enough speed on this to outspeed a no speed Tapu Fini. And then on top of that, again, like just like with how fat Oro's team is, I wanted to hazard stack him, so I have Stealth Rocks and Spikes. We do have Taunt to stop his defogging from mostly the hopefully the Tapu Fini, because I think that has more likely of a chance than Mandibuzz to show up. But since we are outpacing a no-speed Tapu Fini, we will be outpacing a no-speed Mandibuzz, so in theory we should be able to taunt the Mandibuzz. It depends on whether Oro wanted speed on his Tapu Fini or not. And then obviously Roost because it's a Skarmory. And then also this was like, it's just a good check to like his physical stuff. It was like I wanted to hazard stack him and have sort of a physical check if I needed it, so Skarmory was there. Next up, like I said, his Mega Latios is a huge threat, so we are running a mixed defensive Melodic with Toxic to be able to make sure that any of the setup stuff I can put on a timer. We do have Recover because obviously it's just good on Melodic. We have Haze here because, like, you could argue Dragon Tail would be cool for the Mega Latios, but in case he did bring Calm Mind Tapu Fini, I wouldn't be able to Toxic that, and Dragon Tail, like obviously Tapu Fini is immune to. So I wanted Haze just in case he wanted his setup Pokemon of choice was his Tapu Fini, and then barring that we just have Scald because it's Scald. With the investment, I should say, with the investment, I did make sure that we are actually not 2-hit KO'd by anything, and I mean anything, an unboosted Mega Latios can throw at us. Even his Draco Meteors do less than 50%. Like I guess I could have gone for the whole 52% with the leftovers, but I don't know. I just wanted it to do less than 50% just in case Melodic's leftovers got knocked off or something like that. But yeah, that was the main reason behind this spread. I don't remember the exact specific numbers. I do remember I wanted to make sure that I did not get 2-hit KO'd by anything an unboosted Mega Latios could throw at me. So yeah, that's Jesus Christ, that's Melodic. In my opinion, kind of straightforward. And finally, we do have our Mecha Gardevoir, because similarly to Diggersby, look at Mecha Gardevoir and look at Oro's lineup, and please show me his switch-ins. Obviously, he does have a chance to be able to absorb the Hyper Voices, which is why we have Psyshock here. HP Fire, specifically for the Ferrothorn. And then we had Calm Mind here, because honestly, I didn't think I needed another move. I think once I'm able to, if I can Calm Mind up once, then I can pretty much 2-hit KO, if not OHKO everything. I don't remember what the specific investment's for. I just remember the speed was for his Arcanine, like just max speed Arcanine, and then the rest got put into HP because Gardevoir can be fat like that. But yeah, that is the team. So yeah, I mean, I would say, let me know what you think. But anyways, that's the team. We're doing this hybrid, so let's just go right into the battle. And welcome back to the battle. So as we see here, Oro decided not to bring the Ferrothorn, which, I mean, I guess I could see. Like, Blacephalon was on my roster, even though, like, I don't know, I didn't think Blacephalon had a very good place in this matchup, considering he had a Tapu Fini, and more specifically a Chansey. But yeah, so anyways, that's beside the point. Looking at lead matchups here, I don't really know what Oro wants to lead with. I'm going to leave with Skarmory as kind of just like the middle ground play to either try to set up my Stealth Rocks, or to taunt one of his slower things in case they want to try to set up my Stealth Rocks. So yeah, I set in my Skarmory, and Oro sends in his Arcanine. Obviously, this isn't a favorable matchup for me, so I am going to directly switch out into my Noivern, which can easily take a fire hit. We do frisk the leftovers, so that definitely, and including with this damage, definitely leads me to believe that this is a defensive Arcanine. And this is free reign for my Noivern just to fire off a Super Fang, because the Chansey switch-in, or even the Tapu Fini switch-in, is pretty obvious. So we get a nice clean 50% off of Oro's Chansey. So here, I'm just going to taunt. I don't want his rocks to get up. As we do see here, Oro does seem to predict that and just goes for the Seismic Toss. I don't really mind. I'm getting a little bit of residual leftovers back, so seeing as he's taunted, I'm just going to go for another Super Fang to get this Chansey even lower, but he just gives me 50% on Mandibuzz, so that is perfectly fine with me too. Again, it's kind of the similar thought. I don't want this thing roosting up and gaining a bunch of HP back, so I'm just going to taunt it right away. But as you see, Oro goes for the knockoff, again predicting the taunt. So I don't, unfortunately, get residual sustain, but that is fine, because once again, I'm just going to fire off a Super Fang, and I get 50% off of his Mega Latios, so I am super happy. Noivern not even getting any kills so far, but already putting in a huge amount of work. So I go into Melodic, which is my dedicated response to his Mega Latios. I don't think Oro predicted that. I think Oro was more so scouting for what dragon move I had on my Noivern to be able to switch in his Tapu Fini. But either way, it does pretty much work out for him. So I don't want this getting taunted or getting I guess not toxic, but the main thing I'm worried about is potentially getting Whirlpool trapped by Tapu Fini. So with that in mind, I believe, yeah, I just go into Skarmory here because I want to get my rocks up and potentially stop him from defogging, but this also does give me a chance to see how much speed he has on his Tapu Fini. And as we see here, he at least has some speed because I crept to outspeed a no-speed Fini, but his taunt fires out before mine. So unfortunately, my speed probably not going to be worth it. I go into my Raichu as that's the best thing I have to pivot into Tapu Fini, but now since he doesn't know what kind of set my Raichu is, he could be worried that I'm like Life Orb or something. So I can definitely see why he switched out here, but it was a pretty free Volt Switch on my part. And now that Diggersby in, Diggersby just gets to kill something. So Return is definitely a net KO here. So he basically he elects to sack off the Chansey here. So Diggersby already getting one kill, and yeah, goodbye to that fat pink piece of shit. And now he goes to the Buzzwole, which I assume is his response to this. I go straight out into my Skarmory, as Oro decides to get aggressive and predict my Mega Gardevoir switching, but I am not risking that thing. It's looking really good against him now, now that his Chansey went down. But yeah, I just get up my rocks here. I'm actually faster than this Buzzwole, so that definitely means he is a no-speed Buzzwole. But yeah, that bulk up, kind of scary, not like sort of, I guess. I taunt him so he can't bulk up more, because then that's going to be a problem. Here I get a little bit aggressive, and I basically just decide to taunt again. In case he wanted to try to switch into his Tapu Fini. Now that it's confirmed that his Fini is faster, I wanted to taunt it on the switch-in since he would be able to get the defog off. Oro got aggressive there and once again decided to try to predict my Mega Gardevoir coming in. Again, it's looking too good against him to risk like that. So I do fire off the Roost, as now that he saw that I'm not switching into Gardevoir, he's definitely just going to repeatedly click Thunder Punch, basically until he dies. So again, I am going to sack off my Skarmory here, but once again, I do decide to fire off a Taunt and get sort of aggressive for the same reasons that I did before, in case he wanted to switch in the Tapu Fini to try to get a defog off, or even the Mandibuzz if he decided to go that way. So my Skarmory does go down, but now Mega Gardevoir, I guess, just gets to scream and gets to kill. So Haley Williams picking up a kill here. Screaming about her paramour to this Mandibuzz. But yeah, so the Mandibuzz goes down, and then after that, Oro decides to go into the Arcanine, as that is, at this point, I think his best response to Mega Gardevoir if he's physically defensive, just so that way Psyshock doesn't do too much to him. So once again, I do decide to go into Noivern, basically just to sponge any fire hit. I'm firing off a Super Fang here, as I thought about firing off Roost, but I think Super Fang was definitely better because look at the amount of damage I'm able to get on this Tapu Fini on a Pokemon that specifically is not very good, or at least like arguably not very good because it doesn't have recovery. I'm taunting here. I don't want him to defog. I don't care if he predicts the taunt and goes for Moonblast. That is perfectly fine. It was in range of Diggersby's return from there. I'm just going to get off another Super Fang. And yeah, this Fini is down really low. And Noivern, again, not getting any kills, but Noivern put in a ton of work that game. I am super happy with how Noivern performed. This Tapu Fini is guaranteed in range of Volt Switch from my Raichu, so I do pivot into that and Volt Switch just in case he decided to try to switch out. And now with his Tapu Fini out, I do send out my Gardevoir, basically to try to bait out this Arcanine and take some chip damage. I do send in my Melodic, as Oro actually, it gets not really aggressive, but actually doubles out into his Buzzwole. I'm not really sure what he was trying to predict there. Possibly my Diggersby, I guess. I go for the Toxic here now that I know he's bulk up, but unfortunately I miss, which is really bad. But I guess it's not really bad considering my Gardevoir always, now that we know he's Leftovers and not Assault Vest, my Gardevoir always 100% revenges this with Hyper Voice. So yeah, again, like, because of what I just explained with the whole Gardevoir 100% being able to revenge, that Haze play with Melodic didn't really make a lot of sense. Because, like we see here, like, it didn't matter if he's at +1 defense. Like, Hyper Voice, like, that crit did not matter, considering that, like I said, he's not Assault Vest. So that crit did not matter, and I always revenge with my Gardevoir. So it was kind of pointless for me to haze on that Buzzwole. But either way, that's just kind of a slight oversight. So his Arcanine's at 50%. I do decide to go into my Melodic, as at this point, it's like kind of my best thing to switch into Arcanine, and if he's physically defensive, unfortunately Psyshock couldn't kill. but in case he had Toxic, I also didn't want my Mega Gardevoir to get Toxic. As we do see here, he goes for Wild Charge, and that was actually kind of a low roll considering how defensive I am. Luckily, we do land the Toxic of my Melodic this time. So yeah, this Arcanine's on a timer and it's not living forever. Oro gets sort of aggressive. I mean, it's not really aggressive. It's essentially his way to win. As if I try to get... Like, his way to win is if I try to get Diggersby... Like, him predicting my Diggersby and clicking Flare Blitz instead of Wild Charge to grant me a free switch into that. But at this point, I'm like... I don't really need to risk my Diggersby because now that his Arcanine's Toxic... by the way... I keep clicking Toxic here because I just don't want Latios to get a free switch in. But back to what I was saying before, I just didn't really see a reason to risk my Diggersby like that because I can always click with the range that's that his Mega Latios is at. I can always send in my Diggersby to lock itself into Quick Attack. So I could always revenge the Latios that way, and I didn't really need it to take on the... once the Arcanine was Toxic, I didn't really need it to take down that. So, anyways, while I talked, my Melodic 1v1'd his Arcanine. I try to go for the Toxic on the Latios, and unfortunately, he does show Sub, but that means he probably has a setup move, and that's his way of winning now, so I have to stop that right away and just keep spamming Haze until I die, essentially. And it looks like Oro does see that line does make a lot of sense, as he just elects to just go for the attack and just kill off my Melodic, which is fine because with Mega Gardevoir, Hyper Voice can bypass the sub, and since he's a physically offensive Latios, nothing he do can kill me, even that Shadow Claw. And yeah, Hyper Voice will clean up this game, and that is going to be good game to Oro. We take the first game of our pool play in Santa Smackdown 2-0, and yeah, off to a pretty good start. The team worked fairly it worked well to what I kind of envisioned it working to. So I'm really glad it did work out like that. But yeah, our next game will be up against Youngster Bill, who is probably one of the better players in this tournament. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm really excited to play against him. And yeah, keep your guys' eyes out on the channel tomorrow for when that pool game against Bill goes live. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.